Okay friends, we have put a ton of work into this G4 Cube, pushing the original 21-year-old hardware far beyond its original specifications. We've upgraded nearly every part of its internals, from a Sonnet processor upgrade to a hacked PC video card, and we've seen great performance in demanding, period-correct games like Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Now, I think the Cube is ready for its biggest challenge yet: Minecraft. Can we get this machine, released about a decade before Minecraft was even a twinkle in Notch's eye, to give a playable experience? Let's find out together, so stay tuned. If you haven't seen the journey we've taken with this beautiful box so far, I'll link a playlist below, but just to recap, when this particular cube was new almost 21 years ago, it had a 450 MHz G4 processor, 128 megs of RAM, and a Rage 128 Pro graphics card with a paltry 16 megs of video memory. And that was pretty underpowered even for the time. Now it's been upgraded to a 1.2 GHz Sonnet G4 processor, the maximum 1.5 gigs of RAM, an mSATA SSD, beautiful RGB lighting that nobody could ever dislike, and the fastest possible video card that will fit a hacked Radeon GeForce 6200 with a whopping 256 megs of video memory that was only ever released for PC. Now, in case you've never heard of Minecraft, it's a pretty popular game and it's been around for quite a long time at this point. The first official alpha was released on June 30th, 2010 after several months of development. And Minecraft is written in a language called Java, hence the name Minecraft Java Edition for the most recent desktop release. And Java is interesting because of how programs written in it are compiled. You see, in many programming languages, programs are compiled for each platform that they're intended to run on. So if you write a program in C and you want to run it on Mac PowerPC, you have to compile it specifically for Mac PowerPC. Java, on the other hand, is meant to be cross-platform from the start. Instead of being compiled for a platform, programs are compiled for the Java Virtual Machine, and any platform that has a recent enough Java Virtual Machine and enough computing power can run that program. Mac PowerPC has such a Java Virtual Machine, so a sufficiently powerful Mac should be able to run Minecraft, but the question is, how well? Fortunately, I'm not the only one who has asked this question. And in fact, there's a whole group of smart, PowerPC-loving Minecraft fans on the Macrumors forums who have done a lot of the legwork already. And they've even released versions of Minecraft modded and finely tuned for the available versions of Java on PowerPC. There is version 1.2.5, which is tuned for G4 machines like our cube here. And there's version 1.5.2, which is tuned for G5 machines. And I'll link below to this thread and also to the Macintosh Garden, which has these for easy download. So let's download the G4 edition right now and see just how well it runs on this modded G4 Cube. Okay, and this comes with an installer, so once you unzip the folder, you should move it to your desktop and then run the installer shell script, which is going to copy everything into the correct locations. All right, install complete. So we should actually now have Minecraft in our applications. And there it is, Minecraft G4. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous to launch this because this is such a strong processor upgrade, this Sonnet G4, that it runs quite hot. And now we have put a fan in here, but that processor upgrade plus the superpowered comparatively graphics card that we put in here, yeah, this thing's going to get pretty warm and that fan's definitely going to earn its value. So it's pretty cool right now. Let's launch Minecraft. and see what happens. Enter a username, okay. Action Retro. All right, Java is loading. Hey, Mojang. That's certainly a good sign. Hey, look at that. So we have Minecraft loaded and it's telling us to press F11 for maximum performance mode instead of its normal little witticisms that it shows up here. So the reason I wanted to do that is because full screen means we're going to get as much graphics power put to the game as possible instead of wasting it on some of the other stuff going on here. But to hit F11, we actually have to unbind that key in system preferences, which, keyboard shortcuts. And F11 right now is show desktop, so we'll just turn that off. And now, maximum performance mode. Come on, there we go. All right, check it out. That looks pretty Minecraft-y to me. Although this screen actually, I guess Minecraft doesn't like this resolution totally, because if you can see, the Minecraft logo is now not centered. It wants to be widescreen, but that's fine. I'm sure this is fine. Yeah, so before we jump in, I just want to take a quick look at some of the options in here, because there's some interesting stuff in that the mods that came pre-installed here from the Macrumors forum are finely tuned for maximum performance. So we have Optifine 1.2.5 HD Ultra C7 pre-installed and configured for maximum performance, although we can continue to tweak that if we need to. And there is also the option to use a texture pack with textures that are 1/8 the resolution of normal textures. So yeah, default textures, just that's what comes with Minecraft, but we can also choose low resolution textures, and I'm pretty curious to see what that's actually going to look like. But for now, I want to try with the default textures, and let's just see what Optifine settings there are. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. So performance is set to maximum FPS, fog is off. You know, we've got all sorts of quality settings that we can choose. We can turn mobs on and off, and natural textures, smooth biomes is off. Pretty much every animation here is off. Particles set to minimal. So we're going to just run it with these default settings. Yeah, difficulty is set to peaceful. So let's start a new world. Action. No. Cube world. In survival. All right, here it goes. Let's see how fast it actually builds the level, because I think that's all processor. All right, starting to load. Oh my God, look at that. It's Minecraft. All right, so we'll just give it a second to get its senses together. It's going to be rendering out for a second, and yeah, I think it might be done. So interestingly, the longest amount of time spent was on saving chunks. So yeah, it actually generated the world pretty quickly, less than a minute. And we are in Minecraft. That's amazing. Yeah, I see it continuing to render some of the world. I think it's probably about done. Yeah, the view distance is set pretty low, probably as low as it can be. But we are in Minecraft. We've got sound. We can smash some grass and look for some seeds. I've got 1 seeds. Excellent. We can punch a tree, as is tradition. And honestly, I mean, it doesn't feel super smooth, but it doesn't feel unplayable at all. I mean, there is a little bit of choppiness, but for the most part, it seems fine. I don't think I would want to take more drastic measures like lowering the resolution of textures, because this is perfectly playable. And yeah, I definitely feel some heat coming off the cube, and I feel the fan going. I guess I should craft something. Crafting table, that's important. I accidentally made 2 of them. Yeah, I think we need a clearing to build our house. Oh, there's a little bit of lag when I'm moving as it's generating stuff further out. And wow, this is really a forest here. Jeez. Oh yeah, definitely feeling some of the lag as I'm running through the forest. It'll lag and then catch up. Hey, is that clay? No, I don't think there is clay in this version. I'm on the edge of another biome. Okay, this is actually a pretty good spot to build something. We can build our trusty wooden pickaxe and accidentally throw everything on the ground. And yeah, we're in business. So definitely some lag. I wonder if we can tweak the settings at all to maybe tone them down just a little bit. But honestly, this is much better than I was expecting. I really thought that even with the GeForce 6200, we were going to have a lot more lag and a lot lower general frames per second. So yeah, why don't we see what the FPS actually is? We'll press F3 and oh, okay, so it's showing 16 FPS. So it looks a lot smoother to me than it actually is, maybe just because I'm so impressed that Minecraft is running on a computer from 21 years ago. Yeah, 15, 13 FPS, jeez. Yeah, I guess counterpoint to the low FPS. Oh, dip down to 5, jeez. Yeah, counterpoint to the low FPS, I mean, tons of games back in the day ran at pretty low FPSs. I mean, we're recently spoiled with like 30 FPS and 60 FPS, but way back when, you'd be happy with 15 FPS in, you know, Doom, Quake on your low spec family computer. Yeah, I do wish there was a bit more FPS, and I wonder if we can do something to get it. Why don't we take a look at the low quality texture pack? All right, texture packs, low resolution textures. All right, and let's try Cube World, this time with 1/8 the oh my god. Look at this nightmare. We are hitting like 20 something, 25 FPS. But at what cost? Oh my god, I cannot understand anything that's going on with these textures. It's like, I don't even know what material is what. Like there's a tree. I guess it's moss on the tree. Here's stone. Is that stone? Is that clay? I think it's stone. Yeah, it looks like stone. All right. I don't know if I could play the game like this. But I guess if we really wanted to run this on low hardware, lower than this is better than no Minecraft, I guess. All right, let's turn that off. All right, back to default texture pack. Yeah, I mean, I would say that definitely the game is playable. I just wish we got a couple more FPS out of it. So I think what I want to do now is pull out a much faster G4 and compare. All right, I've got my trusty PowerBook G4 12-inch here, which you last saw in this video. And I love this laptop. This is the final fastest version of the 12-inch PowerBook G4, so it's 1.67 gigahertz. And it's also maxed out with 1.25 gigs of RAM and a pretty decent video card. It has a GeForce Go 5200, but it only has 64 megs of VRAM. So technically, the video card in this is fairly worse, but of course the processor is much faster, and the thermals in this technically are probably better than the thermals in this cube with this crazy upgrade. So I've already installed Minecraft. Let's see what kinds of FPS we're going to get. So we'll just make sure that video settings, look, full screen 800 by 600. Let's set it to 640 by 480 to better match the cube. And then we'll create a new world for this and call it not cube. And it's actually building terrain probably twice as fast as the cube did. And that's definitely down to the processor. All right, that took probably half the time that the cube took to generate this world. And let's pull up our frame rate. Oh, it's getting a little laggy. All right, so right off the bat, yeah, this is doing way better on the laptop. We've got 39 to 40 frames per second. Geez, it's like night and day. A couple spikes down, but yeah, digging, it's going down to in the 20s and bottoming out at like 19. Ooh, just hit 12, but yeah, now it's back up to 38 to 41. And yeah, this feels noticeably smoother in person. All right, we've got to punch a tree because that is the way. Yeah, this is going much better than the cube. And that's really surprising because the graphics card in this is so much worse. I mean, it's got a quarter of the VRAM as what's in the cube. And the advantage that it has is the much faster processor, 1.67 gigahertz versus 1.2 gigahertz. I really did not think that it would be so constrained by the processor difference on these machines, but yeah, I thought the video cards were going to make much more of a difference. And I think I want to try this on one more machine to really get the full picture of what the Minecraft experience is like on our favorite PowerPC architecture. Okay, I couldn't help it. I want to test this out on my titanium PowerBook G4. This is the 867 megahertz G4, the bare minimum according to Macrumors. And it has 1 gig of RAM, which is also the minimum. And it has a pretty terrible graphics card, just an ATI Mobility Radeon 9000 with 32 megs of VRAM. But it's also running Tiger instead of Leopard, which should give it a lot more headroom as far as memory and how much of the processor that the operating system is taking up. So we'll run the installer here. And let's see if it just loads. Now we may have to download some other stuff to get Java working. Oh yeah, geez. Because this probably has a pretty ancient version of Java. And we've got some weird stuff going on in the splash screen here. All right, well, shockingly, we are in the game, but game is kind of an overstatement because it's basically a slideshow. Now, oh, there, it just popped in a little bit better. Okay, this is better than I expected. Let's pop up our frame rate here. So we are bouncing right now 2 frames per second, 1 frame. All right, so the highest it seems to get is like 14 frames per second, but then it's single digits a lot of the time. And that's not unexpected because, well, this graphics card is pretty terrible compared to everything else we tested. If you're not familiar with these titanium PowerBooks, even though this might look a lot newer than the 12-inch PowerBook we just tried, this is actually several years older. This is just the big 15-inch version of it, which the design, you know, stands up today, but the internals, not so much. Let's try punching a tree because that is the way. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not completely unplayable, but it is mighty sluggish. We're actually getting up to 20 frames per second now, but we keep dipping down to single digits, and especially when we start moving into new spots that it has to render, man, it really slows down. Yeah, so 10 frames, 3 frames, 1 frame, 13. It's really struggling. All right, so that's interesting. I mean, it did a lot better than I thought it was going to do. And part of that might be because this is running Tiger as the operating system instead of Leopard, which is what I have on this cube here. So Tiger uses a lot less processor and a lot less memory. So yeah, I'm really impressed with how Minecraft 1.2.5 runs on this G4 cube that should never ever have been able to actually run it. We're getting a pretty solidly playable frames per second, around the 20s or so, with a couple slowdowns, but yeah, perfectly enjoyable, perfectly playable. And I will, of course, link in the description below where you can download this at Macintosh Garden and the Macrumors forum thread where they discuss how they did this masterpiece. But yeah, if you like this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more Macintosh shenanigans, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. And a special thanks to Chris, Justin, Sorta Eclectic, and Spike, who are my highest tiered patrons, and all of my Patreon supporters for helping make these shenanigans possible.